Here is something most people over 60 have never been told clearly. If you are drinking plain water for your circulation, for your cold feet, for that heavy feeling in your legs, for that afternoon slump where your energy suddenly disappears, water alone may not be doing the job you think it is doing. Not because water is bad, not because hydration does not matter, but because after 60 the problem is often not just fluid, the problem is flow, and those are not the same thing. I want to repeat that because it sounds strange the first time you hear it. Hydration and circulation are not identical. You can be drinking water every day, doing what you believe is the healthy thing, and still have poor blood flow to your feet, your legs, even your brain, if you are missing one very specific step that needs to happen right after that water goes in. And here is where it gets interesting. There is one simple thing you can do immediately after drinking water that can make your circulation respond differently within minutes. It costs nothing. It takes less than 3 minutes. And once you understand why it works, you will never drink plain water the same way again. By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly what that one thing is, why it matters more after 60, what mistake cancels the benefit completely, and how to do it the right way so your body actually uses that water to help blood flow instead of letting it just sit there while your circulation stays sluggish. My name is Dr. Marcus Vance, and much of my work has focused on helping older adults understand what is really happening beneath symptoms that are often brushed off as just aging. Cold hands, cold feet, heavy legs, brain fog, afternoon fatigue, that sense that your body is technically functioning but not circulating the way it used to. Before we go deeper, take a second and leave your name and where you are watching from in the comments. I always like to know who I'm speaking to. Now let me explain what is actually happening inside your body after 60, and I'm going to do it in the simplest way possible. Your circulation depends on 3 things working together. First, you need enough fluid in the system. Second, you need blood vessels that can open and respond properly. And third, you need movement that actually pushes blood where it needs to go. That third piece is the one almost nobody talks about. Because your circulatory system is not just a pump in your chest. Yes, your heart matters enormously, but your legs matter too. In fact, the muscles in your lower legs act like a second pump. Every time those calf muscles contract, they help push blood back up toward the heart. That improves return flow, reduces pooling in the lower legs, and helps the entire system circulate more efficiently. Now think about what happens after 60. Blood vessels become less responsive than they were decades earlier. The lining of the vessels, the endothelium, tends to produce less nitric oxide, which means vessels do not relax and widen as easily as they once did. On top of that, thirst signals become less reliable with age, which is one reason so many adults over 60 walk around mildly underhydrated without fully realizing it. So now you have a body that may already be slightly low on fluid, slightly less efficient at opening vessels, and far more vulnerable to blood pooling when you stay still for too long. That is the setup. Then you drink a glass of water. What does that water do? It helps with fluid. That part matters. But if you drink it and then sit down, stay seated at the breakfast table, sink into the couch, or go right back to your chair, you have only solved one part of the problem. You added volume, but you did not activate flow. And that is why so many people say, I drink plenty of water, so why are my feet still cold? Why do my legs still feel heavy? Why do I still crash in the afternoon? Because water without circulation is incomplete. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Elaine. Elaine was 71 when she first started talking to me about this. Very disciplined woman. She tracked her water intake. She kept a bottle with her all day. She honestly believed she had hydration completely handled. And yet every afternoon, around 2 or 3 o'clock, she would feel that familiar drop. Her feet were cold. Her legs felt dull and heavy by late morning. And when she stood up after sitting for a while, it took a moment for her body to feel fully online. Her labs were not dramatic. Nothing screamed emergency, which made the whole thing even more frustrating for her. She kept thinking, If I'm drinking the water, why don't I feel better? Because she was solving the fluid problem, but not the movement problem. And once you understand that distinction, the fix becomes surprisingly simple. If this is already connecting dots for you, type the word flow in the comments right now. Here is the one thing I want you to do after drinking water once you are over 60. Do not sit. Move. That is the trick. Not intense exercise, not a workout, not a gym session, just a short, deliberate circulation triggering movement window immediately after the water. I call it the 3-minute circulation trigger, and for many people it changes everything. Here is why it works. When you drink water, you are adding fluid to the system. Good. But when you stand and begin moving your ankles, calves, and legs right away, you activate the muscle pump in the lower body. That pump helps push venous blood upward. At the same time, the act of walking or marching increases heart rate just enough to improve blood flow. The friction of blood moving along the inner walls of your vessels, what we call shear stress, also encourages the vessel lining to behave more favorably. In plain English, movement tells the system to circulate. It tells the blood vessels and the muscles, use this, move this, deliver this. Plain water alone cannot do that. That is why two people can drink the same glass of water and get two completely different outcomes. One drinks it and stays seated. The other drinks it and creates a 3-minute flow signal through movement. Same water, different response. Now here's the mistake that cancels the benefit. Most people drink water and remain still. That is the mistake. They drink it with breakfast and stay in the chair. They finish a glass in the afternoon and go right back to the sofa. They hydrate, but they do not circulate. And after 60, that matters far more than most people realize. So let me give you the exact protocol. In the morning, or any time of day when you typically feel sluggish, drink 1 glass of plain water. About 8 to 12 ounces is enough. You do not need to chug it. Just drink it comfortably. Then, within 1 minute, stand up. And for the next 3 minutes, do this. For the first 60 seconds, rise up onto your toes and lower back down at a steady pace. If you need balance support, lightly hold the kitchen counter or the back of a chair. These calf raises are not about strength. They are about pumping blood. For the next 60 seconds, march in place slowly. Lift the knees gently, nothing aggressive, just enough to get the lower body actively involved. For the final 60 seconds, walk. Around the room, down the hallway, through the kitchen, out to the mailbox, wherever is safe and easy for you. That is it. 3 minutes. Water, then movement. If you can breathe through your nose while doing it, even better. Keep the shoulders relaxed. No rushing. No strain. The goal is not exhaustion. The goal is flow. And if you have made it this far, type the number 3 in the comments. I always like to know who is still with me. Now I want to be realistic about what this feels like because expectations matter. For many people, the first thing they notice is warmth, hands less cool, feet less cold, ankles less stagnant. Sometimes it is subtle, sometimes it is surprisingly obvious. Some people describe it as their body waking up faster in the morning. In the first week, what usually stands out is that transition feeling, less stiffness when starting the day, less of that heavy, slow, thick sensation in the legs after sitting. By the second and third week, many people report that the afternoon dip becomes less punishing. They are not cured of fatigue by magic, but the body feels less stuck, less flat, less like everything drops off a cliff after lunch. And by week 4 and beyond, the people who tend to stick with this are the ones who say some version of the same thing. I didn't realize how much sitting after drinking water was working against me. Because once you feel the difference, you understand that circulation is not passive. It has to be invited. Now let me add one nuance here that makes this even more effective. Timing matters. The best times to do this are first thing in the morning, after long sitting periods, or during that afternoon window when your energy usually drops. Those are the moments when blood flow tends to need the most help. If you already know you crash around 3 o'clock, do not just reach for water and sit back down. Drink the water and trigger movement immediately. That sequence is the whole point. Water first, movement second, sitting later. If you reverse it and stay still first, you miss the window. I also want to say this clearly. If walking is difficult for you, you can still do a modified version. Seated ankle pumps, heel lifts, toe lifts, and then standing for even 30 to 60 seconds if safe can still be helpful. The principle remains the same. You want the lower body to participate. You want the blood to move. I promised I would come back to Elaine. After several weeks of doing this consistently, nothing dramatic had changed in her life on the surface. No major diet overhaul, no expensive supplement stack, no punishing workout plan. She simply stopped drinking water and then disappearing into a chair. That was the change. When I followed up with her, she told me her feet were warmer in the mornings. The dead leg feeling after sitting had eased. And most importantly for her, that mid-afternoon crash no longer felt inevitable. She still had normal human tiredness sometimes, but she no longer felt like her circulation simply shut down halfway through the day. And what she said to me at the end stayed with me. She said, "I thought water was the answer. I didn't realize water needed a signal." That is exactly right. Water needs a signal. After 60, your body responds better when hydration is paired with movement. Not because water failed, but because flow has to be activated. So let me bring this all together clearly. If you are over 60, plain water is still important. Do not misunderstand me there. Hydration matters. But if your goal is better blood flow, fewer cold feet, lighter legs, and steadier energy, then plain water by itself is often incomplete. The one thing to do is this. Every time you drink that glass of water, especially in the morning or during an afternoon slump, follow it immediately with 3 minutes of movement. 1 minute of calf raises, 1 minute of marching in place, 1 minute of easy walking. That simple sequence can help your body use the water more intelligently by pairing fluid with circulation. And the mistake to avoid is equally simple. Do not drink the water and stay seated. That is the old pattern. Before you leave this video, tell me in the comments which symptom sounds most familiar to you. Cold feet, heavy legs, brain fog, afternoon fatigue, or that slow, stiff feeling after sitting. I read those comments carefully and they help shape what I talk about next. If this video gave you a useful shift in perspective, subscribe. Not out of habit. Subscribe because after 60, you deserve health information that actually fits the way your body works now, not the way it worked 25 years ago. And if you know someone who drinks water all day and still complains that their feet are cold or their energy crashes every afternoon, send them this video. It may help them realize they do not just need hydration, they need hydration plus flow. Take care of your circulation. It is the quiet support system behind energy, clarity, warmth, and mobility. I'm Dr. Marcus Vance. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, before making changes to your routine, especially if you have heart disease, severe vascular disease, dizziness, balance problems, or take blood pressure medication, talk with your physician first.